Red Dead Redemption 2, and didn't look back from that for a bit. But I have gone back to this. I'm in the hospital part right now. I'm using Carlos. I had fought Nemesis again with Jill. He's like running around these buildings. He like takes a different form. And you kind of have to launch like sticky mines at a grenade launcher, and he hits him. Pretty cool battle. And then there's another cutscene where like Nemesis stabs her with one of his claws, and she gets all sick, and Carlos finds her, and she's in the hospital, so you gotta find a cure. It's a cool game. It's a pretty cool game, for sure. I don't like it as much as 2, but it still is good. This one's kind of more straight focus, like on action, more so than. I mean, 2's action as well, but this one is very like movie-like kind of action, I guess. But it's cool. I'm enjoying it. The stuff with Carlos is a little actually more Resident Evil-y. You know, you're in the precinct from 2 with him, and now you're in the hospital collecting items and stuff. I'm kind of running low on ammo where I'm at, so I have to be smart. I assume you're using Jill in here too, because there's a couple of locks that need her lockpick to open. But overall, it's been fun for sure. I actually started playing another Xbox One game. I beat it, but I'll continue to play it because it has good replayability. I'll talk about that one in a sec. So I have to go back to this again. But it's definitely it's a cool game. Looks good, you know. It's classic. It does still have more of an old. It has more of an old school. Like even this one with the, kind of the very like action movie type feel. It still feels more like old school Resident Evil than 5 or 6 did, for sure. And I like 5 a lot, actually. 5's one of those games where I played through it like 3 times. I really enjoyed that game, but it was such an action game more than a survival horror, in my opinion. But it's still really good. But this has more of the old school feel, in my opinion, than even that would, or 6. 7 actually really brings kind of the old school feel back, as well as being genuinely fucking creepy, at least in my opinion. And while bringing something new to the table, I cannot wait for 8, which comes out in, I think, a month, right? A little more than a month. So I'm playing that. The second game I just started playing, I actually bought it today. It's a Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, for the Game Boy Advance. This is a game I've always been looking at for a while on eBay, and we had to go out to Massapequa today. I had to pick up some of my bins of stuff that I still have out there to bring here. And we went into Home Goods in Sunrise Mall, so I'm like, alright, I'm going to go buy the Game Trading Post. And I'm like, I want to take a look at the GBA stuff. And I picked up this in another game I'll show in a pickups video. But this one was only $5, which is a pretty good deal compared to, it's probably about $3 or $4 cheaper in there than it was on eBay. I don't know what it's selling for in other retro game stores, but there are other games I've been looking at on eBay that they have in there for very good prices as well, so I'll be going back there maybe next week or the week after. I might drop like $30 on like, 5 games or something, 4 or 5 games, because a lot of them are like, $5 to $8. But this game's pretty cool. I'd watched some gameplay on it and stuff, a while back, but the first mission, it follows the third movie. It follows Episode 3, which is technically the 6th Star Wars movie. mission, you're saving Palpatine from Grievous on his ship, or wherever. You can use Obi-Wan or Anakin. It's cool. It's like a beat 'em up. I was just busting up droids and stuff, and then I fought like a flying droid. But you can use force powers. You can deflect the blaster shots, and you can just hack them up with slashes and stuff. So it's actually pretty cool, and it has a cool look to it as well. For sure, it looks pretty decent. I was playing it on my GBA, but the backlight is kind of just, I don't know if it's losing it or whatever. It's not like, I can obviously see what I'm doing, but it's not like overly bright. So I might play it on my fiance's DS instead. Because I would guess that backlight is probably brighter. But I'm having fun with this, for sure. There's a couple other Game Boy Advance Star Wars games I want to pick up as well. But they had other ones there I was like ready to just throw down there, but I didn't. But I was looking at another like 4 games in there, which the most expensive was $7. So definitely good prices for sure. And I'm kind of looking forward to continue playing this because it's nice, like kind of quick, fast paced, just busting stuff up and whatever. I'm sure it's not overly long either. And the other 2 games, the one I'll talk about now is on the PlayStation Mini, but it's on the stick that I was gifted. That has a bunch of PlayStation games on it, and it is Final Fantasy 6 or 3. It was released here as 3, but in that re-release on PlayStation, it was finally just called what it was. Which is Final Fantasy 6 over in Japan. I've obviously talked about that game in the past. I fucking love. It's one of my top games of all time. And I'm like, I want to sink my teeth into this again because it's such a nostalgia trip while still holding up. I played the intro when you're Terra and you're with Wedge and Biggs, which I always found funny even back then because those are Star Wars guys. And you're in the magic tech or whatever. And you bust up the town, and then you wake up as Terra because you're trying to awaken the Espers. Kefka's trying to like get the magic or whatever from the Espers, and it wakes up, and they disappear. Like it takes out the 2 guys, and then you wake up, and now I'm kind of on the run because the town people are looking for me. So, and then I'll go to another town, and you use I want to say it's Edgar in this one. I think Cecil is in 2 or 4. Then you meet up with her, and it goes from there. She's lost her memory, but it's absolutely a game that I wanted to play again, and I've been I think I might start to play it when I had the disc, but I don't think I did the anthology disc, PlayStation 1. And this one adds in some 3D stuff as well, like 3D, actual like cutscenes. Actually, I shouldn't even say they are 3D, but like kind of video game, like kind of movie cutscenes, at least for back then. So it adds that to it. It's just a classic fucking game. It's just a good game. And those RPGs still hold up in my opinion, so that's great because I just love Final Fantasy 6. So I'm kind of excited to continue to really dig deep into that because that's another game that's probably maybe 50, 60 hours long, maybe even longer. So that'll be a fun one to continue to sink my teeth into. I hope I kind of stick with it too because I will start bouncing to other games too. I'm sure I don't have much Resident Evil 3 left. And this is the kind of game, the beauty of these handheld games, you can kind of just throw them in and play them for a little bit. And the 4th game I played on Game Pass, I actually beat it as Axel. It's Streets of Rage 4. I'd heard of it. I know the first 3 Streets of Rage from the Genesis. I played 1 and 2. I never played 3 at all. And, my friend had mentioned it when I was over by him a few weeks ago. Because I guess that new Ninja Turtles game, Shredder's Revenge, was made by the same people made Streets of Rage 4. And it was made, I think, with Sega as well. But it was awesome. It was tough at points, like that classic frustration that you get from the old beat 'em ups. And then you'd beat the boss and be like, fuck yeah, you know. I used Axel. You can use Cherry Axel. You unlock Adam. I'm pretty sure Adam and Axel have been in the other Streets of Rage games as well as some of the other characters. I can't remember a lot of the Streets of Rage lore, but I know those characters. I'm pretty sure those characters were there. I guess maybe it's a direct sequel to 3, because you're going after two twins. I think it's X and Y, and maybe like Mr. Whatever. I forget what they initially was. They mentioned it was their dad, so they're kind of trying to take over the town, the city. And I got the cops in their back pocket. The second level, you're in the precinct. You gotta fucking fight the commissioner, police commissioner. It's cool combos. It has a really cool art style and look to it, which is cool. It's classic. It has a classic beat 'em up feel. You're punching, kicking, you're getting weapons. You're doing some special moves as well. It's a pretty good assortment of weapons. I was using a mace and a sword, and it might have been actually the last level. Knives, pipes, ninja stars you can throw at people. I think that was the last level too. What else? Nightsticks, because you're fighting the cops, and they have like charging shields that you gotta beat, disable before beating the hell out of the guy. Cool stages. I mean, it wasn't super long, but it has good replayability, because I started up a second game with Adam, and my fiance and I actually played the first 2 levels together in co-op. It has 3 save slots, so it's cool. She was using Cherry, I was using Adam. There's Axel, and there's 2 other people, I can't remember their names. So the one girl is Adam's kid. It's got a cool look. There's one where you're on a train and you see the city going by in the background, the train's going by, you're on top of the train. It's cool. Some of the levels are longer than others. Some of the levels are actually kind of short, and some of the other ones are a bit longer. But overall, it was really cool. I actually enjoyed the hell out of it. And like I said, it was the frustration I would get from the old school games, so a little different than. I don't get as pissed now at games really much at all as I used to. I occasionally will, but not as much as I used to from the older games. It's really fun. I actually recommend that to anybody who's into beat 'em ups and wants an old school feel. While it's still, earthquake. Anybody who wants an old school feel while it's still, with it still feeling fresh. I'm actually excited for the Ninja Turtles game, because that has just a straight up look of the old ones. This one is much updated graphically, but you can unlock. I unlocked I think 2 of them. You can unlock Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 characters, and they're like the sprites of Axel and Adam and stuff. They're like the sprite characters. You can play with them as well. You get scored. Oh yeah, that's another thing. They grade you, so there's replayability there, like similar like Devil May Cry's and stuff. You'll get points and stuff for beating on dudes and not getting hit and stringing combos along. And then it grades you. I was getting a lot of C's and a few B's with Axel, and then this time around I'm getting all B's so far. So it's fun. It adds to replayability.